The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is Donovan Gray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to $10 billion, I decided that I am going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donovan Gray, and this is how I'll turn my life into a win. We made different playlists for all the things that we have done, and you can find those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, y'all know who y'all are. This is chapter 4, page 184. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below as well. Today's day is Thursday, September 28th, and it is 1:08 p.m. Alright, so before we get into the topics of the day, you know we start off with screen time. That is when me and my beautiful baby girl check our phone every single day, and we see how much time we spent on it last week. Every day I spent an average of, let's see, drum roll please. Okay. Woohoo! Listen, I knew at one of these weeks it was gonna show itself. Last week was the week. Okay, Donovan. I'm killing him. Alright, so my screen time every day last week was an average of 5 hours and 51 minutes every single day.
You lying.
Okay?
You lying. Now you check your phone.
Kill him. Down 22%. Okay, my highest usage day was Sunday for 7 hours and 23 minutes. Well, and Saturday for 7 hours and 30 minutes. I know Sunday we had the fair. I don't know what happened on Saturday. But I spent 2 hours in my notes on Saturday. So I don't know what I was doing on Saturday. It's a long time.
Competition.
Oh, I was doing that. My most used app was X for 12 hours and 39 minutes, which is about 2 hours a day. Instagram for 6 hours and 15 minutes, and then YouTube for 5 hours and 34 minutes, which is kind of crazy. Cause I'm like, okay, if I'm spending about 12 hours on X, which is about 2 hours, less than an hour, it's less than 2 hours. I'll call it an hour and a half a day. And then Instagram's another hour a day, roughly, right? So that's 2 hours right there, 2.5 hours. And then another, I'm spending about 3 hours a day on my phone on social media between X, Instagram, and YouTube. And YouTube could technically be studying. So, you know. I picked up my phone on average 108 times per day. And my first used app after pickup was Mail, which had 172 pickups of those. Alright, baby girl, what was your screen time like last week?
So, I'm going to preface this by saying I fell asleep.
Oh, here we go. Y'all know this story. Y'all know this. Y'all heard this one before.
I fell asleep.
Her phone, yeah, okay. But
On average, I spent 8.
Woo! See? I fell asleep.
8 hours and 56 minutes.
How much you fell asleep? Every night? Every night you sleep with your phone on? That's a lot.
8 hours and 56 minutes. That's 9 hours.
That's 9 hours a day.
That's 9 hours. One night I spent. So, what day is this?
I remember that night too.
It's Friday.
I turned your phone on.
Oh, okay.
I walked past and I saw it. I'm like, the screen time looks so crazy.
Right.
I saw it on the bed. I was like, damn, that shit is on still.
See, I'm not
But
lying.
that's only one day. That's one day. What's the excuse for the other days? You don't have the excuse for all other days. That's not 9 hours a day screen time. 9 times 7 is what? 40 something?
Anyways.
42?
It's 62 hours I spent total on my phone.
I was up for 20 hours.
Anyways, no, that's not true. It was like 35. But anyways.
What 35? 9 times 7?
What? 5 times 7.
How do you get 5 times 7?
You was looking for like 5 hours a day on average, right?
Yeah, but I thought you said you spent 62 hours on your phone.
Right. That's about 9.
Right.
Anyways, so on TikTok, okay, so my most used app was TikTok. I spent 16 hours and 44 minutes on TikTok.
What? On TikTok? Damn. How many hours is that per day? 3?
16 hours.
Damn. A little over 2.
Right.
Maybe 2.5 maybe.
But I also be streaming. I also stream. And I be supporting Sarah's live. I don't even think Sarah went live last week. I don't know if she did. I don't even think she did.
She did.
So I can't even say that. Instagram, I spent 9 hours and 39 minutes. I just be on the shorts. The shorts got me in the trouble. Damn. Messages, 6 hours. Gmail, 6 hours. Camera, 5 hours. Music for 5 hours. And I picked up my phone on average. This is down 30% from last week. I picked up my phone on average 83 times. My first use app after pickup was Gmail for 132 pickups, then Instagram, then TikTok. I pick up TikTok the least.
Man, once they got you,
oh my gosh, they got me. Oh my goodness.
Like, you gonna be on this app.
Oh my goodness, I'm trapped.
All you gotta do is send you a notification. So, hey, this person like your picture.
I don't even get
Who likes my picture? Swipe, 30 minutes later. Damn.
That's not even how TikTok works. You just go on there, you stuck. I don't get no notifications for TikTok.
For the subscriber check, on the Candle channel, go follow the Candle channel. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We need everybody to go subscribe. You could win a free candle, okay? If you want a free candle, subscribe to the Ember Candle Co. channel. We are at 551 subscribers, and on our main channel, we are at 6,619 subscribers, all right? Now, let's get to the topics of the day. All right, you guys. I probably got an intro. It's going to sound like I'm kind of far in the intro just because we did not have the mic on. I didn't have the mic on. But we called it early enough into the podcast that the rest of the podcast, you can still hear my sultry voice giving you the feedback and whatever else happened last week. Oh man, y'all seen the intro? I mean, y'all seen the title. Y'all saw the title, okay? All right, now before I tell you about how that even happened, I just want to preface this with: there are people out there. Some of them comment, some of them don't. All right, shout out to the ones who understand what it's like to fight for what you want. Okay, shout out to y'all. There are a lot of people out there who have never fought for anything they wanted, and the ones who have fought gave up. Okay, we're not talking to the ones that gave up. We're talking to the ones that are fighting for what they want. We understand each other. All right, I want y'all to understand that I understand y'all. We on the same page, right? So those people see what we're doing, they go, "Damn, that's crazy." Shout out to y'all. But then there's the other ones, right? There's the people who had a dream and gave up on it. There's the people who quit, who stopped chasing what they want. There's those people out there, right? Who look at their life and go, "I wish it was where I wanted to be," and it's not, right? Not only is it not, they are also not trying to get to that point. Okay, this is for y'all. We are never gonna stop. I'm gonna let y'all know that today. Whatever we want, the 10 billion, Melissa being a superstar, having a whole bunch of rooms in our house, living lavishly, traveling, whatever other amazing things you want to do with the company as far as giving back, all of that stuff, everything, the 1,000 millionaires, all of that is gonna happen. Okay, we are gonna go through hell and high water to get there, but we're gonna get there, right? And like I said, the people who are going through it right now, who are trying to get somewhere, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all understand, because it's like, damn, you doing something, and you get knocked back 3 feet. You're like, damn, okay, I can't not do it. I gotta keep going. Y'all know what we on the same page, okay? The rest of y'all, damn, I feel bad for y'all, because y'all hurting right now. Whenever y'all see us down, y'all be like, ooh, ha ha ha. Yes, Lord has saved me and gave them the terror that I once had. Yes, okay. I understand how y'all be feeling. Okay, all right. I know y'all saw the title. Your heart just shriveled up. It's like, what? Right? So I just want to let y'all know we will not stop, and we will always find a way. If y'all have not seen that by now on this podcast, we will find a way to get to where we want to get. We're going to figure it out. Okay? We will figure something out. It's not going to look pretty. And it never, anybody that has ever tried to get something that they want understands that it does not look pretty. It never does. If you actually show what it takes to get to what you want, it's ugly. Okay, I'm talking about ugly. All right. So now let me tell y'all about this $15,000. Y'all know that me and my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend, we operate in different spaces, right? There are things that I know that she's good at. There are things that I'm good at, right? There are things that we both gravitate to and things we prefer not to do, right? One of the things Melissa does is she's going to find opportunities. She's going to look up stuff. She's going to search for hours in the middle of the night, and she's going to find stuff. There'll be no lack of opportunity that she will look for and find. And that means filling out applications, filling out forms, talking to people on the phone, going through different meetings and Zoom calls and classes and courses and stuff like that. She's going to do it, right? That's her thing. So she came across something. They have multiple opportunities inside of this corporation. One of them they have is something called a pitch competition, right? So Melissa did her first pitch competition earlier in the year. And earlier in the year, the prize was $1,000. That was the prize. And it was just kind of left field. We weren't really sure what to expect when we were doing it. Just kind of like, all right, let's see what happens. So she ended up coming in second, right? So she didn't get the 1,000, she got the 500, but that let us know like, hey, this is a viable opportunity, a viable channel for us to increase the amount of money we have. And as y'all remember, if y'all watched last week's podcast, which, you know, I will say is doing pretty well for the last couple of podcasts, we have talked about reducing the amount of debt we take on for multiple reasons, right? So we have been looking at opportunities that allow us to make money without debt and making decisions that keep us away from debt, even if it hurts us in the short term. That's kind of how we've been approaching, you know, it might have been 2 or 3 weeks now. So because Melissa did so well in the first competition, the people that ran it were like, hey, we're having a bunch of these. What would you think about kind of signing up for those? And we're like, obviously, for sure. Like, if the only downside is I lose, that's it. Like, that's the only risk factor, is that maybe, and time. The risk factor is time is put into this opportunity, and I guess opportunity cost. And we don't actually win, and that time could have been spent somewhere else making money or making changes or headway somewhere, right? That's the only cost that we have. The upside is we get to learn about pitching. We get to learn about the holes in the story of the business. We get other opportunities for us to get money from other competitions, other pitches, and whatever other things they have set up. They also sometimes have mentorships. They have different resources they'll put you in contact with. So there's a lot of different things on the upside part of it. Very low risk, very high upside. Something we've been trying to get more towards. So one of the recent competitions that they had Melissa do, the prize was $30,000, right? Now, $30,000 is life-changing for all. I wouldn't say it's life-changing for her because it's not life-changing, but it absolutely moves the needle. Over the last 2 years or so, maybe even 3 years, we've done so many things and found things and put in so much work to find out how can we raise the money to get to this thing. Do we have to make it? Do we have to borrow it? Do we have to get it from an institution? What can we do to get this money, right? We have to get to it. So we've been raising small amounts of money throughout the year, and they all were because they were so small, and they had short-term either payments, or they had high interest, or they had I wouldn't call it necessarily high interest, but the one with Square specifically, they charge you a percentage of all the sales. So it's not technically interest, but we're paying 70% of all of our sales to them. So, but at the end of the day, we know that we'll get further along, or at least that was our idea back then, is we'll get further along by just having money to use to put into the business. And that way we can snowball it and make larger amounts of money. So this opportunity comes up to make $30K, right? Now, if anybody out there is really honed in on trying to achieve something, you understand distractions. And I have a thought or a saying that I've just realized that you don't really know who you are until you try to change, right? Until you try and become something that you want to be, you don't really know who you are. And that speaks to, that's for me, Melissa, and a lot of other people. So let's say that you might say you're not an alcoholic, right? And you go, I'm not an alcoholic. I have a beer or a drink every once in a while. I don't really need it, right? But then someone says, okay, how about this? How about you don't drink for 3 months, right? That's when you realize how much you actually need alcohol, because now the days, it's been 3 or 4 days, it's on the 4th day, you getting irritable, you upset, you like, damn, I want my alcohol, I need the alcohol. And then you gotta really think to yourself, damn, what do I do to not have to drink alcohol? What kind of environment do I have to put myself in? And that's when you realize you might go to the bar too often, or you might have a lot of alcohol in the house. You might have a lot of friends that drink a lot of alcohol, or that may be borderline alcoholics. But you don't realize those things until you decide to try and change. You also realize how many things get in the way of you trying to achieve not being alcoholic anymore, right? So you're telling yourself, I don't want to drink anymore. I am going to cut out whatever makes me drink. But then you start seeing like, wow, there's so much TV shows about alcohol. I live in a place that has 5 liquor stores on the same block. I didn't even notice that until I decided I no longer wanted that. So when the pitch competition happened, Melissa had to put a pause on everything else, because she was like, okay, 30K is the most important thing that we have right now in terms of opportunities. It's a very low downside in terms of risk. The only risk again is opportunity cost, which at this time, because we're no longer doing artisan fleas, is not really that high. She put a pause on everything else, Pinterest, Candle, everything that's not doing this pitch competition. And honestly, it was like 3 days, I think, of her doing that, like 3 or 4 days of her just making the pitch, doing the content, whatever it took, right?
I had to make a whole business plan.
Right. She had to make a business plan just for the pitch competition. She had to know what the numbers, the margins, how much of what we're selling, what the profit and loss statement looks like. All of those things she had to look at. So she has spent several days doing that. She does her pitch, right? I think did you have 2 pitches before this one?
Yeah, I had 2 prep sessions and then the actual competition.
Okay. So Melissa had one prep practice, right? The first one, they had said, hey, we need to know more about the story. A lot of the pitch that she did was numbers. Like, this is what we're doing. This is the business model. This is how we make money. This is how we're going to expand. We have perfumes. We have candles. These are our margins. Things like that. That was like the majority of the pitch. The feedback was, hey, we don't really know how you got into this. Why can't somebody else just steal it from you and copy what you're doing? If it's just candle, that's kind of the common thing people say when it comes to the candle business. I always find very interesting. But I understand to some degree, because I used to think the same about candles, but I don't know if I would feel that way if someone came to me and said, hey, I just made 100K selling candles. I would be like, what? How did you put me on? Like, let me know what the business model, how that works. When other people hear about the candles, they're just kind of like, oh, poo-pooey, right? Which is understandable. I get it, right? I think it's very short-sighted and ill-sighted as well. And here's an example of that. We were watching a show this morning. I think her name is something Shelby, Shelby, something like that. And she had interviewed this girl who is 20. How old is she?
She's 20.
How old is she now?
I think she's 25 now.
Okay, so she's 25 now, right? She has already sold a piece of her business for $360 million. Okay? For $360 million, she sold a majority stake in her business for $360 million. You know what she sells? She sells gummy candy. Right? Now, of course, she has an extensive background in science. She went to school for 7 years on how to create the perfect sweet combination for her candy. She has a background in design to create her packaging. She has a network of friends and family who come from the candy industry. Okay, I lied about all of that. She has none of those things. She did not go to school, has no network, has absolutely nothing, no money, no background, dropped out of college. Okay, and was able to she went to Amazon. She started her business by going to Amazon, buying the gummy, like the molding for gummy bears, and wanted to make a healthier candy that has less sugar in it. That's what she has. Now, a lot of people will see her and go, "You selling gummy bears? What's the gummy bear? Why are you selling that? Why can't somebody else just come and just copy a gummy? I could go right now on Amazon and buy gummy bears and sell them, right?" That's what everybody would tell her, right? I'm just assuming off our experience. She turned that into a business that was doing over $125 million a year. Okay. So this is just the feeling that I get when people say about, oh, you doing candles, or why don't you do something else, or how long you gonna do that for? Why can't somebody just copy it and do candles themselves? It's like, listen, Liquid Death sells water. They sell water. The company is valued at $750 million and they sell water. Are you telling them maybe you should try something else? Like, somebody could just put water in a can too. Like, why can't they do that? You should just, like, it's just water. Why don't you start a tech company or something? Like, that should be like, that's what I hear when people tell me that. But again, I have to remember, most people don't do the kind of business extensive research into multiple industries to know how much money is really being made out here. Okay. So the guy's giving the feedback to Melissa about the pitch, right? And I'm hearing the feedback, and I'm kind of like getting irritated because I know he's a guy, and guys tend to treat the candle business in a certain light when they hear about it. So I'm listening to his feedback. I'm just like, okay, you kind of nitpicking at this point. You can't really find anything. So that's pitch practice number 1, right? So we get the feedback, and we go, okay, we're gonna work on the second one. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna turn the story up. They want a story. We're gonna give them a story, because everybody wants to know, what's your how? Why do you make the candles? How are you gonna change with that's what everybody wants to know. It's like, okay, all right, babe, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the story notch and we're gonna turn it up to 10. We're gonna put all the jokes and all the storyline in there, right? You got the highs, you got the lows, you got the rising action, you got the climax, you got the foreshadowing, you got all of that stuff. So I'm writing up the script. I'm like, all right, it's gonna sound like this. We're gonna try to put some jokes in here on like that. We're gonna take these slides you have from over here, put them over here. We're gonna reorganize this part, and boom, we're gonna have some fire joint, right? So we go to the pitch practice number 2, right? With the new updated version of this. They said you only have 5 minutes to do the pitch, right? And just practice, by the way. So Melissa does her pitch. We practiced it several times before. She is locked in, packed, a tight 5 minutes. I always think of comedy when I think of stuff like this, because they will really have you in tears with 5 minutes, because every word, every line, every breath, every pause is intentional to make that 5 minutes actually impactful. And that's how I was approaching with the pitch competition. Melissa does her pitch, does phenomenal, right? Everybody's blown away. Oh my God, that was amazing. You did a phenomenal. Oh my goodness, I want to buy a candle right now. That was so good. Wow, right? Mind you, it's practice. So there are 5 other people or 4 other people who are there practicing as well, right? No one else got the response Melissa got after her pitch. Not a single person. It would have technically been a standing ovation if she was at the Apollo. So we're like, we got this. We're like, it's in the bag. We're looking at other people's pitches. One person's pitch, they said that
they have a t-shirt business. I will omit the names of the brand, right? But the name is very important. The name is very important. I'm not gonna say it, but it's very important. So they're doing their pitch, right? One of the major things that stuck out to me hearing this pitch, let's say that their brand name is, let's say their name of their clothing brand is television, right? And I use that word because the name of their brand is a common, it's a word that's used in society, right? They said, to bring credibility to their brand, right? This is what they tried to say and tried to push, that their hashtag television, remember that's the name of their brand, television, has been used 141 million times on TikTok. Okay, so there's some people who may not even understand. I'm gonna say it again, and then I'm gonna explain it to y'all. Their brand name, we're gonna just say whatever it is, we call it a television for today, because that's not what it's called, but we're calling it television. Hashtag television was used on TikTok 141 million times, and they put that in their pitch because the name of their brand is television. So if you still didn't catch that, here's why that's crazy. I'm gonna do two levels. People who don't know what hashtags are, I feel like at this point in age everybody should, but let's say you don't. You have hashtags. You go online right now. If you put hashtag on one of your pictures or one of your posts, anybody else that uses that hashtag will be pretty much put into a catalog on that platform where you can see their picture because they use the same hashtag. Okay, it's like a directory, if you will. This man tried to say that 141 million people using his hashtag television, as if that brings any credibility to his brand at all. He had it in the slide, he had it for Instagram, and he had it for TikTok. I'm like, bro, there's no way that you think that you could monopolize the word television as your brand, because it would be different if it was a unique word like right? Something like that. I don't know. You'd be like, wow, like 141 million people use your hashtag that you came up with and created yourself. That's incredible. It's not that. So that's one thing, right? Then again, mind you, like I don't know if I told you, in our slide, killed them. We told them in the last 12 months we did over 90K. We did 10K in February. We did 15K in March. We did what else? It would have had the numbers. Oh, we sold 3,000 plus candles over the last year. We're just hitting them. We're like, yeah, this is the margins. There's 70% on this. It's 80% on the perfumes. We were showing, oh, this is where we came from. This is where we're at now. Going crazy, right? Numbers going ridiculous. We're talking about we're doing 3 fairs in a day. Killing the story is killing them. So this person does not have any numbers on their slide, right? Now, to me, that lets me know that you're not making that much money. Because if you made $1 million, that would be on the slide number 2. It would say my hashtag television brand made $1 million last year. That would be the first thing you say out your mouth, and then you probably explain it, right? So he had no financials on the first slide, on his first pitch competition that we saw practice. That's one person, right? Another person, their thing was, honestly, when we watched it, we didn't even know what it was. We know they wrote a book. All we knew is they had a book, and that was it. We had no idea what, because that's what the pitch wasn't specific enough for us to know, hey, I am selling this. My business does this. We didn't know. We were looking here like, what is she? Is it? She sells a book, right? I think it's a book. And then she had like a chart of her numbers, right? But it was very hard to understand. And here's why. It was a bar chart, right? And I think it was like increments of $100,000. So it was like 0, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. In 2023, it was below the first $100,000. But that's it. There's no like indicator. You have to kind of ballpark it. Like, I think that's half. That could be 30,000. It could be 60. I'm not sure. It's something like that. I don't know. That's what we're thinking, looking at. But we can't really tell. But the following year, right? Or next year, she's like, I'm going to make $250,000. And then I'm going to make $300,000. And we're like, all right, that was a big jump. So, mind you, I almost forgot. This other person who sells the t-shirts. I think they did have financials the first day. I think the first day they did have the financials. The financials said that, honestly, no. This is what they had. It didn't have what he made this year.
Right.
It said next year I'm going to make $75,000. Then it said I'm going to make $3 million. Then it said I'm going to make $10 million a year after that. That was the financials. That was it. That was literally the financials. It didn't say what he made this year or last year. It said next year I'm going to make $75K, then $3 million, then $10 million. I said, okay, it's all right. Okay, sure. All right. So then we go back to the other person, right? So her thing was, it was foster care related, but again, we didn't really know what the situation was, what the business was. Then you had another person. She, to us, biggest competition. We saw her, we were like, wow. Like she said that she was on Shark Tank in her pitch. She said that she was on different television shows. She had worked in the hair industry for 17 years as a cosmetologist. I think that's what it's called, right? She has experience in this, and this is where the business came from. She has an app, and the business model is, if let's say that you are doing your hair and you don't have enough hair for your hair that you're doing, right? You need to get the hair last minute. So you go on the app, you say, hey, I need 2 more bundles of that Brazilian jiu-jitsu weave. They go, the person sees it on the app, they go to the store, they bring it back to the crib. Now you just saved 6 minutes from walking to the store and getting it yourself. You saved the time, okay? You saved something. So I'm like, all right. So mind you though, business model, idea, I'm like, this is a good idea. I won't say it's a good idea. Conceptually, it's grander than most. That's what I would say. I come from that life of delivering food. I've done it for, 5-6 years. If not every day, 6 days out the week, 5 days out of the week, I'm doing this for 10 hours at a time, right? I was in this place before it even became as popular as it is now. When I was doing it, there was no DoorDash in New York City at the time, which is, think about how crazy that is. There was no DoorDash here. You couldn't get it on DoorDash. Instacart was only in like 3. I don't think Instacart was here yet either. It wasn't really even that popular at all. They wasn't even doing outside of just, I think, Whole Foods, right? I think that was the only place they were doing. And y'all might know Caviar, they weren't really that big. And Postmates at the time was fairly small. Uber wasn't even doing deliveries for things that weren't people in cars. That's how early I got into this. So I saw the business model and how it played out. What they all do is they pay you a ridiculous amount of money to be outside. Right? They go, okay, hey, we'll pay you $800 a week so that you could be in the city in case you get an order. I'm like, sure, that's easy money for me. Ain't no orders. Nobody knows about the business. Nobody knows to order a hot chocolate from Rite Aid from here. So I'm gonna just be sitting out here making money. And then when you did get an order, they said we're gonna pay you $50 per order. If it's raining outside, $80 per order. Right? I'm like, oh, this is raining money. This is amazing. This is phenomenal. Getting money, go home with $1,000 by or not $1,000, like $300 in 3-4 hours. I was like, wow, this is amazing back then, right? Because now, we're selling candles and we'll do $300 in 1 hour. But, who wants to buy candles, right? So I'm like, this is not a business model you just do. It's not that simple. The companies that I'm talking about, Postmates, DoorDash, Caviar, Instacart, they are still to this day trying to figure out how to make that business model profitable. Because the problem you have is, one of the problems you have is a person an employee or a contractor, which I've heard that fight before. The other problem is you have to have enough people on the street to be able to get your thing delivered quick enough to you. So you have to just have drivers around, and you can't have drivers around just sitting if they're not taking any orders, right? So there has to be enough orders for them to be outside willing to take the orders to then drop them off and get paid for it. The hair thing is not big enough where you're having that much hair being ordered regularly to have that many drivers that you would need outside at one time to do that, right? It's so the business model that needs if you really get into it, it needs a lot of work. So I'm hearing this and I'm like, this is not a viable option that she's talking about. Like, it sounds cool on paper, but the execution of this is extremely hard and expensive. Like, you have to have tens of millions of dollars of funding to be able to get this off the ground, because you have to float all these negative months of expenses for, even to this day, people still doing it for years. DoorDash and these companies doing billions of dollars and still going negative, right? So I'm hearing this. Another thing she said, which I thought was crazy. If you ever deliver anything, some of y'all have done Uber, maybe Lyft or things like that, right? She said the radius for the stores in terms of how far a driver could be from the store is 40 miles away. Do you know how crazy that is? 40 miles, like 40 miles is mad far. That's multiple boroughs of traveling to get somewhere. From Manhattan to my house in the Bronx, it used to be about 12 to 13 miles. That's a whole borough. We're talking about, I would go from Manhattan to the Bronx, to back to Manhattan and back to the Bronx on my bike. That would be about 40 miles, and that's only one way, right? And I'm thinking to myself, what about the fees? Is she gonna have to pay? Am I getting hair for $10? I know it's more than that, ladies. I understand. Am I getting hair or a wig for $10, and now I gotta pay an extra $10 on top of that for delivery fee? Then I gotta pay a service fee. Y'all know how Uber Eats work. You buy a burger for $6 and you pay $28. You're like, damn, that's crazy. How I do that? Ain't still even tip yet, right? So I'm just like, this whole business model is just off. But sounds nice. She's been on Shark Tank. She's been working in the hair for 17 years. She's actually won, according to her, $90,000 so far. And she's building an app. You know, everybody loves hearing that. I'm going to have an app. So we're like, damn, like business, like if the judges are not real judges, they won't even understand that this is flawed. They won't even know. They go, oh, this is so much fun. That's great. If they're business people, they'll know like this is not viable. So then the last person was, she's new to business. She sells body butters. And oddly enough, out of everybody I said, I would probably put her third in terms of business. Obviously, would be number one. I might put the foster care person with the book at number two. But this girl did $2,500 on with her body butters online only. Her Instagram isn't that big, and her website is not phenomenal, but that lets me know, or my assumption is her products are that good that people are still buying it, because she had similar website numbers to us, and we're doing craft fairs all the time. So that's like, okay, you're doing something online that is garnering people to buy and pay online. If those numbers are accurate, right? So I'm like, okay, that's dope. I could appreciate that because I know what goes into that. So everybody gets feedback, right? We're like, all right, cool. This is the second pitch competition, the second day or whatever, or second practice. And then the next day is the actual practice, the actual competition with the judges and everything, right? For who gets $30,000. So, mind you, we have been putting so much time into this. Like we were exhausted because we're just thinking to ourselves, we have pretty much put a pause on everything that we're doing just because this opportunity is so large for us. So the last final day is, what's today? Today is Thursday, so it's Tuesday. We're like, okay, we're ready. The pitch is at 3:00, and I think Melissa had a meeting before because we had another loan that we had to pay for that we didn't make the payment on, so they wanted to call us and talk to us. Melissa also had another course she had to do at 1:00. They wanted to call her at 1:00, and then the pitch was at 3:00. So like, okay, we got the pitch at 1. We got the pitch at 3:00. We have the 2 calls at 1 or whatever. Melissa could figure that out. Right? So it's probably like 12:36. Google says, hey, you have a pitch in 30 minutes. And I'm in the bathroom taking a shit. Honestly, I'm in the bathroom because I'm super relaxed. I'm like, we got 2 hours. I could work on the pitch. I could like update this because the guy, after we told the story yesterday, after we gave our pitch the second time, they said it was phenomenal. They wanted more. They were nitpick at that point. They were just like, well, try to look into the camera as you give you a pitch. And we're like, okay, like sure, like that's what you're going with, fine. So I'm chilling, but I'm like, you know what, we could probably add a little bit more stuff here, maybe a little bit more stuff there. So I'm in the bathroom chilling, playing video games in the bathroom, and Melissa is doing one of her courses. She's like, oh my god, babe, I'm like, what happened? Like, what's going on? She's like, the picture's at 1 o'clock. I'm like, what? She's like, it's at 1 o'clock. I'm like, damn, mind you, I'm chilling. Now my stomach is knots. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like, we didn't do our last run through of it again. We thought we had 2 hours to work on it. We didn't. We didn't have that much time. We had about 20 minutes. So when I come out the bathroom, I'm like, all right, let's figure out what we got to do. So let's start getting ready, doing her hair. We start practicing the pitch a little bit. We do like 2 or 3 run throughs of it. We figured, okay, let's get the nerves out in the beginning. Let's try and get, anytime you mess up on word, if you might mess up on this word or that word, if you say it now, you won't mess up as much during the thing. You know, that's what we're going through. So she does it like 2, 3, maybe 4 times of it. She's just reading it to herself, reading it. Then she's like reading it out loud, changing like, this is where I messed up on, take that word out, put a new word in there. Let's just make it as clean and tight as possible, right? We even added some new pictures in there because they had, this is their big thing too, that everybody loves to say this. People love saying this. They were like, who's helping you? Because they see Melissa like, who is helping you with your business, right? And they try to discount Melissa and the candles because she's a woman and because it's a candle. They're like, nah, this is suspicious. So they always assume that there's some like financial investor from Wall Street who has connections in the candle industry for us to do this, right? And it's like, no, it's me and Melissa and family and friends who help us do the craft fair and stuff like that. So we added that into the pitch because this is funny. The day before, one of the feedback tips that they gave was one of the guys was like, you should add your co-founder in there more. Like you should like say me and my co-founder and my co-founder, me and my business partner, my partner helped me with this, right? And a woman who I think she's the COO of the brand, she was like, you don't gotta do all that. Like, you don't need to do all that. You could say we, which you did a couple of times. Like, you don't have to keep saying my partner, my co-founder, my business partner. That's unnecessary. You don't gotta do that. He was like, oh, well, yeah, we kind of say the same thing, whatever, right? So that was his feedback. And this, I'm like, you know what? Fine. Because most of the slides, I might be in a picture or whatever, but it's not about me. It's not like, this is Donovan, look at what he's doing. It's like, this is the brand. Look at what we built as a brand. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take out some pictures of us with our customers and put it as us as a team. Like me and Melissa, my mom, Ariel, Courtney, her brother, my sister. We try to be like, you know what? We're going to put these in there as like our team or whatever, right? So pitch time comes. It's 2 or 1 o'clock comes. We ready to go. Everybody starts doing their pitches, right? First was the skincare. Very new to business. Businesses had not been around very long. And one of the problems they had with her is they felt like she should have asked for more money, because in the pitch they also say to write down how much money you want and what you will put it towards. And I actually respect her for doing this, because I think, like I said, I don't know if I said she has business acumen, but she has the thing that business owners have. So in her pitch, she said she would want $4,500 out of the $30,000, right? And the COO was just like, what? Do you not feel like you deserve 30 or 5? Like, why are you only for 4,500? And her answer, like I said, it's a very good answer. It's not the answer that's the sexy answer, but it's the honest answer. She was just like, I don't really know how I would spend $30,000 on my business because I haven't even done that much. Like I don't know where I would allocate it towards because I don't know. I've just started doing this, and I honestly feel like we may have been in the same boat. If someone said, "Okay, y'all want to make candles? You want 30K?" We'd be like, I don't know how to build the business with 30K. I don't know what to do with 30K. Her reasoning was she would not know what to do with the $4,500. With the $30,000. She's like, my business is just new. It's very new. I don't really know how I would allocate this money, right? So I'm like, you know what? It's very respectable. I understand that. So she's the first person. She goes. They're asking her questions. Nothing really serious because, again, I think she only made $2,400 for the year. They didn't really have much to say because it's kind of like, oh, that's cool. What else would you do? Do you make it in your house? That kind of stuff. The next person was the hair person. So the hair person giving her speech, doing her thing. Mind you, she left early before we did our pitch. So she didn't hear our pitch. Comes back, she's doing her pitch this day, and then at the end of everybody's pitch, you get 8 minutes. You get 8 minutes for the people to ask you questions, right? And they start getting into it. They're like, do you have the app? She's like, well, the app will be made once we reach $250,000 in funding, right? Mind you, she already won 90. She's trying to get 30. She's saying the app won't be done till they get 250, right? So they're asking her more questions like, well, if you won 90K, what did you do with it? She was like, well, we were kind of like learning and researching and we spent it all. And they're like, well, do you have anything to show for it? Well, no, not really, but we know what we want to do with the app and how it's supposed to go. And then they're just like, so what is the plan here? Like, how big is this market? Same question that me and Melissa were thinking was like, this don't really seem viable. So that was her thing. Next person was you. Were you third? You were third, right? Were you after her? So next one's Melissa, right? Melissa goes, kills him, right? Everybody shooketh. Oh my God. People are DMing Melissa. Melissa, that was so great. That was so phenomenal. Lord have mercy. That was good. Wow. Oh my God. Like like almost everybody was personally messaging Melissa about how great she did. Now, I don't know if everybody else also got that message. I don't think they did. Personally. That's just my opinion. Right? They get to the questioning part. Right? They don't really have much questions. They just kind of like, do you have a mentor? That's another question they had. Like, who is helping you do this? Do you have a mentor that somehow knows candles or something? You're like, no. Are you in retail stores? Like, nah, we're not. They're like, okay. The only question that kind of stumbled Melissa was when somebody had asked, how long will the money last? That's what they asked. And it's kind of like, what does that mean? How long is the money gonna last? What does that mean? That doesn't make any sense, right? And the answer she gave was, because the business is profitable, we will use it as we're growing the business. That's pretty much like the answer. The question was such a weird question that,
like, it implied that like after 30,000 we wouldn't have money. That's why I didn't really.
Yeah, the problem is that he was asking a different question in his mind, and it did not come out that way. That's the problem. So that was the only like stumble, but it wasn't a stumble in the terms of it negatively affected us. It was just Melissa was killing the other questions, so that was the only one where it's kind of like, this is how we're gonna use it, right? So, like I said, does phenomenal. Now here's where things start getting real fun. Okay, remember the guy #television, his clothing brand? He does his pitch. Right now, before I get to his pitch, I want to add that the closing line of Melissa's pitch is, make sure I get this right. Like I said, when I tell you we came with the heat, it ends with, because we want Ember Candle to be more than a fragrance, we want it to be a brand. right? That was the last line we left him with. Killed him. So he does his pitch, right? All of a sudden he got numbers in there. All of a sudden he said he made this money, right? He like, I did craft fairs, guys. I did craft fairs too. In 2 days, I made $4,500 at my craft fairs, right? Throwing that in there. That was not in the pitch before. Then he throws his numbers on there. How much he made last year. He said he did like, I don't remember the number specifically. It was under like 5K. I remember. I remember being like, he made $4,500, maybe $3,000, and then he went down to $2,200.
That's not.
What was it?
He went from 11 to 6.
You made $11,000?
The first year.
Oh, okay. So from $11,000 to $6,000, and they were looking like, that's on here. Like you put on your slide that you had a better year last year, and then you went down this year. They're like, they didn't ask the questions either at the time, because he was just like, well, he was like, the reason I went down is because my website was down for 6 months and half the year, so that's why I didn't get any sales. That's what he said. And I'm just looking at him like, bro, his whole business model to him, he said, is off the idea. It's built on the idea that he will have influencers wear his brand, and then people will buy from them. And when I tell you, it's not like a funky looking font. It's not something that I feel like he created himself. It's the word hashtag television, whatever his brand is. It's substitute for television. He has another design I saw that was kind of, I don't know if I'll call it interesting, but it wasn't just a word on a shirt. He ends his pitch with hashtag television. It's just another clothing company. It's a movement, right? And I'm like, bro, you serious? I'm like, you ain't have that in your first pitch that we heard. You just added that after we had ours, right? So now we're like, what the fuck? We're like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, okay, now we people just straight up just copying. This is ridiculous. Then we go on to the foster person, right? So we hear her pitch and we're like, ooh, her shit sound good. We're like, damn, her story sound, mind you, again, the pitch we heard was not this. But this one is like, all right, we're like, damn, we got competition. Like, we're like, we knew with the girl with the hair, we're like, we could beat her because her questions, when they got to the question part, she couldn't really answer them, right? Because business model, like I told y'all, is not viable. So, but this one, she starts going into, now here's how the thing, it's a foster care app, right? The app is supposed to connect. No, my bad. Pretty much the app almost gamifies and gives you updates as a foster kid, and it gives you opportunities of things you can do to move forward in life. So one of the things that it has is you can save your passport and your ID on there. It'll show you housing opportunities. It'll give you job opportunities. It has like milestones for you to reach on the app. It's like a what do you call that? It's not that. What is it? It's like a self-help app, pretty much, right? And I think you can also communicate with other foster kids who are in there who have aged out of the foster care system. That's how the app's supposed to work, right? So on her slide, she's like, big old bold font. Last year or this year, we made $80,000 from the company. I'm like, you made $80,000? I'm like, you didn't say that yesterday? I'm like, when you made $80,000, that you ain't say that. And it's, mind you, big old letters, big huge letters. I'm like, all right. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. But again, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I'm like, your app made you $80,000 so far. That's amazing. She's saying how it works. You got to partner with the agencies, and then they pay like a marketplace fee to be on there and things like that, right? I'm like, okay, this sounds like a cool idea, right? A slide comes up on here, which I guess she forgot to change. On the slide, it says that she made the 80K over 2 years, right? And her other slide does not say that. It says how much she made this year. So for me, I'm like, oh, you just lying. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm like, wow, you saw our pitch, came out here and just said, I'm just going for it. I'm shooting for the stars with this one, right? Mind you, Melissa also did not go over her time. This person was already over her time and had to stop and did not even finish her pitch because she was over the 5-minute time. Melissa was tight. She got done within the 5 minutes. Story was amazing. Numbers was in there. Everything. Brand, all of that was in there. So afterwards, we're sitting there and we're just like, all right. We're like, that was pretty good. That was a decent situation. We're kind of mad because we're like, they really saw everybody. They really saw our pitch and said, damn, we have to take that and copy their stuff and like make ours more like that one. So that girl finishes. They start asking her questions. Oh, and in her slide, she had a picture with Michelle Obama, right? Talking about how which I think she did not. I don't think this is true, but she said that she helped to change the laws in the foster care system. I don't know how true that is because I feel like it would have been on a slide that what law she put in place, but that's just me. So I'm like, all right, now the deliberation. So we're sitting there and they have a breakout room. If y'all unfamiliar with that on Zoom, they pretty much will have like all the people like in one group and then put other people in a different group. So all the contestants are in one group and all the people who are judges are in a different group. So we're sitting there. It's got to be like 20 minutes. And they trying to do like small talk, like the people that are running it. And we're just kind of like, this taking mad long. Like my stomach is in my ass. Like y'all got me. I'm like, come on now. It shouldn't be this long to deliberate what y'all doing. So after about 20 minutes, they come back. Right? Now, I'm like, if anybody gonna beat us, it's only one person. It can only be the foster care person. And I'm like, she still fabricated her story. And I'm like, I forgot to tell you this. My bad. I almost forgot this one crucial piece of her puzzle. She also does not have an app. The app has not been made. So they were asking her during her pitch, like, what are you gonna do with the money? She was like, I'm gonna put more money into building out the app. Mind you, the app has not made any money because it doesn't exist. And I'm just like, so what are you making your money from? It's not the app. I don't know where it's coming from. It's not the app. It says something like speaking engagements and books, but I don't know how much of that speaking engagement. I don't know. I have to check the slides again, but it was infuriating because almost no one there had like. I mean, she has a functional business. Let me not say she doesn't have that. She does have that. But if this is a pitch competition for the business, we are by far the best business that's there. Hands down. No questions asked. Had the best pitch. Unequivocally the best business and pitch we had. So now me and Melissa are sitting here. We come back from the breakout room and the judges are there. And they go, okay, we're going to announce the winners. They go, today, everybody, thank you for coming out here and participating in the pitch competition. And we want to give a great shout out to Melissa Burnett for winning the pitch competition. And we actually have two winners today. We have Melissa Burnett and the foster care person, right? So we decided we're going to split the money, the $30,000 between Melissa and the foster care person. Right. And I'm like, wow, I'm upset because before we even got to that point, Melissa and I were talking and I'm like, they're going to do it. They're going to split it. I'm like, they're not going to give the full 30. I know they're not. I don't know how they're going to come up with it. I don't know what they're going to say, what they're going to do. They're not going to give us the full 30. And I'm like, we earned the full 30. We had the best pitch. We put the work in this year to have the best business in that group. We have worked for the full 30 and they're not going to give it to us. I don't know how they're going to do it. They're not going to do it. They end up going and splitting it down the middle, right? So they gave us we got $15,000. Now, it's weird because it's like $15,000 is amazing. And I'll get to how amazing it is because I'm right now, my emotions are in the moment of when Melissa and I just were told what happened because we were like, oh, we killed that pitch. Like, any reason that they would not give us the pitch would only be for social reasons in terms of her business is more socially driven than ours is. At least that's what, like, it's a bigger social driver, more or less, the foster care system. So we're sitting there, we're just like, they really did that. We're like, they really did that. They really did that. Like, we know we won. And Melissa was the first person too, but like on the list, it had Melissa first and then this other person. And I'm just like, oh, and this is my pet peeve I've always had in my life, where it's like, I feel like the best person should be rewarded in a thing. If you put in the work, someone was better than you, you should be rewarded for that. It shouldn't be anything else. However, a lot of things go into that. And one of the things that go into that is politics. So politics literally is just people's emotions. When you politicking, you are making sure that everybody is happy in this situation. That is it. Which is very different than you won this race. You got to the end of this race before anybody else. You came in first. It's not, well, you came in first, but they almost came in first too, so we're going to give you both a medal. It's like they were very close to beating you, but they didn't. What they almost did is here's a medal for them too. Or, which is another one, it's like we really want to have we wanted to have a ethnic person win the race this year, so you not ethnic enough, so we're going to just give it to them, right? Things like that. And I hate that because it's like at that point you put in the work to get to where you got to, and it's shortchanged by something that has nothing to do with the work, something you can't control, which is technically a part of life, which I think is interesting, but that you just assume like I put in the work to win, I should win. So here's where we got even more upset by this. They had like a feedback chart, right, of all of the different things because they had to grade us by this chart that they gave all the judges, right? I'm gonna read out this chart. So there was 5 people, right? The lowest contestant was the girl who had the butters. She got a 6.5. The next person up got a 7. It's out of 10, by the way. That person that's the hair person, they tied with the hashtag television t-shirt person for 7, right? We got a 7.2, right? They gave us 0.2 points higher than the t-shirt business and the hair business, right? That's not functional. And they asked how much money she's making too. She's making $1,500 a month. They said how. She said right now she's the one driving and picking up hair. And it's kind of like, whatever. So the winner, mind you, we were technically second. The number one person was the foster care person with a 7.8 for her score on the chart. So we were actually second on this chart, right? But they tried to push to us in the beginning like, hey, the chart is not what's going to get you a win. It's just a way for the judges to score and rate the businesses, right? Or the pitches. So they gave her a higher score for the pitches than we got. Now, here's how they broke down the pitches, right? The category number 1 was the problem is real, the solution meets target customer needs, and the idea has market potential. They get in that category, we got a 6.3. We came in 4th in that category. In that category, we came in number 4. Behind the t-shirt business and the hair business, we came in number 4. The business that's making the most money, the category says the solution meets the target customer needs, and the idea has market potential. Market potential means the market is potentially buying the candles, and it's doing that, right? They put us slightly above the person who made $2,500 in the business. They gave the foster care person a 8. They gave the clothing person a 6.7. They gave the hair person a 6.4. Right? Crazy. Then the next category is business viability. They describe that as the business has a sustainable business model and has demonstrated some market traction. Okay? We got a 6.3. We got a 6.3. A 6 out of 10. We made over 90K in the last 12 months, and we got a 6.3 out of 10. We barely beat the girl who has the hair who was doing $1,500 a month. Crazy, right? Next category. This one we got smoked. I gave her this one. I'm not even gonna lie. It was impact potential. The business has potential and ambitions to have a net positive social and or environmental impact. Now again, it is beeswax, so I'll give you that, right? However, we are still behind the person that has the t-shirts. Now let me also put this in there. The t-shirts, he had a very fatal disease, and that is how he came up with the hashtag for his t-shirt. And they're saying that his t-shirt will have a net positive social and or environmental impact. So he got a 7.6. We got a 6.6. They give the foster person a 9.5. They didn't give her a 10. That means everybody across the board said 10, more or less. And the last two or last three, I'm gonna just give you ours and the person else that won, right? Use of funds. The founder is clear about how the loan would or the grant would be used to further the business. She got an 8.5. The winner, the other winner, we got a 7.7. Right? Mind you, we had a line item sheet for how we're gonna spend the money, but she got an 8.5. We got a 7.7, and we were third in that one too, by the way. Which is, they put the same category as the freaking skincare person. Okay. Quality of pitch. Quality of pitch. We won in that. We got an 8 in that category. An 8. Which is barely beating anybody. See, now I'm pissed off. Now I'm looking at this again, I'm pissed. Because they gave the first person a 7. Then they gave us an 8. Everybody else is between us. Well, when I say the one that I did the pitch for the skincare person, she got a 7. You cannot say that her pitch was that much close or that close to our pitch. Objectively looking at it, you can't say, okay, I'll give her a 7, I'll give them an 8. You can't do that. They gave, the other winner got 7.8, right? And the last category is credibility of founder and team, okay? In that category, again, we came in third. But they gave the other winner a 9, and we got an 8.6. So we were fourth. And I'm just like, damn. So, that was how it went. So they split the 30K. We had, like I said, 30K would have changed a whole bunch of things for us. 15K helps tremendously. I don't want nobody to think it doesn't. It helps tremendously. And I'm very happy that we got the 15K. But I'm upset we didn't get the 30K. I'm happy we got the 15. I'm upset we didn't get the 30. We have been trying to figure out how we allocate the 15 over the last day or two. So, we're going to use it to probably go on vacation. We're thinking about moving out, getting another house. We were looking at cars to get. I did want to get a Camaro. I wanted an all-white 2010, SS package Camaro. I did want to get that. Melissa, there was an all-you-can-eat restaurant that delivers every day. We thought about getting that for her. The cats need their own special cat walker because I feel like they need exercise, right? And I don't think they get enough in the house, so we're gonna hire a cat walker to take them outside for a couple hours a day and walk around with them. So for the people that think that's realistic, what I just said, that goes to show you how much of a hater you are, right? But we have been trying to figure out. We're gonna pretty much put it all into online, and what we would do is, we probably would take a step back from the fair for a month because we actually have enough money to pay our expenses for that month, and we can dedicate every single day to just learning the online space. And for us right now, that's going to be the TikTok shop. So, or TikTok in general. So we're going to be doing the lives, QVC style, trying to make it entertaining, trying to get online sales that way, and see how that goes. We also currently have a contract with Logical Positions. They're setting up their back end for the marketing channel for us, so they can kind of streamline that whole process from the customer finding us through an ad or through our Instagram and then checking out at the end on the website. So they're kind of getting that whole process situated and in line. So that's how we're looking at spending it. But it's, and also upgrading the product, because we want the product to have higher quality in terms of the packaging. We want the labels to be really good quality. We want the wicks to be quality, the wax. We want everything to be whatever we can improve incrementally, whatever it is, anything that we can do that with, we're going to do. And then by also adding as much value to the candle as we can. So one of those ways is probably gifting complimentary items with the candle. Regardless, we don't know what it will be yet. It might be blankets, depending on what month it is. Maybe it'll be, who knows, just things that we feel like go with self-care. Refills for the candles, a lot of things those are things that we kind of really want to hone in on. The money hasn't hit the account yet, so they said it might be like 2 months or so until that happens. We will see. But who knows. But yes, you guys, that is how we ended up getting $15,000. So I will go on to the next topic of the day, which is the Con Ed. So as you can see, maybe you can, maybe you cannot. The lights are back on in the house. I called them. They had to pay $450 for lights to be back on, which I think is so funny because we literally did not have any money. Like we just did a craft fair this weekend, which I'm gonna get to, and all the money we made pretty much went to paying the light bill. So we might now at this point have about $200 to $300 in our account, like across all of our accounts, and we actually are gonna have somebody wants us to pay them $250 for another loan or something another. So like I said, that's just the state we're in, but we do know in the future we will be having $15,000 deposit into our account, which we could then make proper moves with. I said, I was going to bring up the Grand Bazaar thing. So this is crazy. This is insane. On Sunday, we went to do a market, right? Grand Bazaar, Manhattan. It was a hurricane out here. For this honestly might still be going on. And we get out there and there's no tents up. And I'm dragging the cart because the wheel broke. So now this cart probably weighs it has to be 100 plus pounds. It has to be. I can't see it being less than 100 pounds at this point. And I'm dragging it because the wheel broke off again. And I need to buy new wheels, which I ended up doing yesterday, thank God. But it's crazy to try to drag that thing. And it's uphill, downhill through the city. So I get there and there's nobody with tents up. And I've never seen this before at Grand Bazaar. So I'm thinking they canceled. So I asked hey, what's going on? What's the rescheduled date? They said, oh no, we're still having it. I'm looking around still having what? Ain't nobody here. So I turn the corner. They have 10 tents set up. And normally they have maybe 100 plus tents up. And maybe not 100, probably 100. I don't know about a lot more than 100, but they have a lot of tents up. Yeah, I see the picture of Grand Bazaar. So Melissa and I deliberate okay, we're supposed to be inside. And we're like, should we have 3 options, maybe 4, 3. We can go home and reschedule. We can stay inside and sell, or we can go outside and sell, right? So at first we were like, we should just go home and reschedule for another day. We talked to the people that run it. They said if we reschedule, the next available date is next year. We were like, damn, that's crazy. That's not going to work. So then we go and it's funny. I don't know. I think it's funny. Then we go decide, should we go inside? Should we go outside? So Melissa says she wants to go inside. I say we should be outside. And her reason was it's raining out. It was going to rain. My thing was if it rains, nobody's getting orders, right? Nobody's going to get any orders inside because it's going to be raining. If it rains a little bit or it doesn't rain at all, we'll be the first person to see the people coming by. We can get orders. So we ended up staying outside. We did about close to $500, maybe $450, I think, something around that number for that day, which is a decent day. In the I'm talking about, it was soaking, pouring, liters of water is falling off the tent. So all that money that we made went right into paying the light bill. So, but no, was it? When did we get a light bill? We paid a light bill last week. Yeah, but yeah, that money, it pretty much is going to be spent on whatever we have for this week coming up. And then eviction update. So I spoke to, my mom told me to call legal aid. So I spoke to them and they have this program called the one shot deal where they either give you the money for all the rent, in one shot, a one shot deal, for the rent that you owe in arrears. or they will loan you the money. So we are in talks with them to figure out if they'll give it to us and if it'll be a loan or a grant or whatever. Hopefully they cover the whole thing, but if they do, we'll have to start paying rent unless you want to get evicted again or go through that process, which I said, I don't really want to live here. I want to move to Georgia. We saw some beautiful houses down there, but the rent was like $4,800. It was 43 or 48. Okay, so yeah, it was some nice houses down there that I would really want to move to. So I would hope that we can get to that kid down there to Atlanta, but we would have to be making like $15K a month minimum. But I don't think that's that hard once we get this online thing situated. And then this week we actually have 2 craft fairs coming up. We were like, okay, we did the pitch. We're going to focus on this online thing. We're going to, try and do TikTok on QVC style, whatever. Come to find out, we have a craft fair on Sunday at Grand Bazaar. We're like, damn, that's crazy. We're not expecting that. Next day, come to find out, we have another craft fair on Saturday. We're like, damn. We went from having no craft fair to having 2 this weekend. So hopefully, though, it's a blessing in disguise and we can make some money. Because, again, we always need money because we, still have things to pay for. It is the League of Villains segment. Yay, League of Villains. Woo. Okay, babe.
Yeah. I guess I'll just start off with how I feel about the pitch competition. I don't know. It makes me anxious to talk about because I always feel like, should I talk about this? Am I gonna get in trouble if I talk about this? But I am very grateful for the $15,000. I was, devastated that we didn't get the full 30, but I feel like, as a venture capitalist or as this is a couple different things. I already know that when it comes to these type of things, the kryptonite to the business is social impact. Like if somebody else is there that has a greater social drive than we do, then that's our direct competition. Any other business that's going like sales for sales or just margins or whatever, just strictly business, not looking at philanthropic or anything like that, anything that's that, we got in the bag. But I'm excited because I do feel like, as much as I feel like we had the best pitch, as much as I feel like we put our best foot forward, we put in the work, I do feel like, if I didn't win, then I probably, I wasn't good enough. So the next time, we're just going to do everything in our power to make sure that whatever was not either received properly or wasn't clarified, the points that we didn't hit, maybe even looking at the rubric a bit closer, whatever it is that we gonna have to do, we gonna do. This is only our second pitch competition, so and there's gonna be more. So it's exciting. It's something that we could work on. We could develop more, and having a pitch deck in general is or the business plan in general, it's so interesting. In this last month, we now have our profit and loss statements, our balance sheet, we have our cash flow statement, we have a financial projection, we have a business plan, we have a business pitch, a pitch deck. We also have a line sheet now. So it's the business is growing, and it's now racking up the things that it's supposed to have also to take us to the next level, because this is what different investors ask for, this is what different programs ask for. And instead of me having to put time into making a business plan for me to even take advantage of an opportunity, kind of like what we did with this, I could have started working on the pitch earlier, but I had to work on the business plan first, or just kind of things like that. So like I said, I'm excited for that moving forward. And there's a ton of opportunity. There's too many opportunities. One thing that I'm going to work on is my LinkedIn. It's not built out, and I realize that whenever I do these competitions, people be asking for it. Whenever I'm in these groups, people be asking for it. And I have a lot of credentials. It's just not on my LinkedIn. So it looks like I have no credentials. So I'm going to have to put everything on there, just so people know like what my background is, what courses I've been taking. Like it's like having to sell yourself as well in order to sell the viability of the business. So it's just a lot that has to do with that. In terms of Pinterest, I haven't been able to focus on it because we're working on the pitch. And I feel like every week I'm like, okay, I'm going to be able to focus on this thing. And something else comes up that takes our focus away. So I'm like, okay, I had it in my head, like, all right, the pitch competition, once I finish that, that's it. I could work on this thing. I could work on that thing. Yeah, it's just like every time I'm like, okay, we're going to get this thing done. We're going to get that thing done. Then it's like, oh, okay. Well, at least me personally, it's like, damn, now I have to do this other thing. Now I have this other opportunity or this other phone call or this other like thing that takes my attention away from it. So I'm happy that after this weekend, we don't have any other fairs for a little minute. I think after this weekend, the next fair that we have is going to be in November. And we're going to have one in the first week of November, and then we're going to have a break, and then we're going to have another one. So after this weekend, it is literally just online. That's it. Nothing else to focus on, nothing else to take our attention away. And whenever the money comes in, we'll be able to use that to really like ramp up the growth. Honestly, it's kind of good. I mean, yes, it's fake. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's a lot of exciting things that are coming up. I am signing up for more classes and more webinars in a sense, because they have a whole bunch of free ones from all the stuff that I signed up for. There's webinars, there's different things. So I figured, it might be beneficial for us to take advantage of it. And the only reason why that change of heart has come in is because I know I said that like whenever I go into these classes and stuff, I feel like I'm not really learning anything, only because I have so much business experience, and I feel like it is more so geared towards people that don't have that experience, that are like brand new. But I do feel like in the Beyonce class that I'm in, the other people in there have businesses. And that's really cool. That's really cool because they're all black too. So it's a black luncheon. It's for black people. So it's really cool to see how all these other people have businesses. Like they have gyms, they have restaurants, they have locations, they have different opportunities that's coming to them. Like it's really inspiring, and I love it. And this past week, I feel like the class was really spitting. It was talking about digital marketing, and I was like, ooh, and we could use that. Like, it was so crazy. I feel like this is the best class, and I had to leave early to go to the pitch competition. I was so mad because I didn't realize that the pitch competition was supposed to be at that time. But luckily they record the sessions, so I was able to leave, do the pitch competition, and I'm going to watch the session to see what they said. But I wish I would have been there. And honestly, I could probably I might hit her up. I might like add her on LinkedIn, hit her up and see if she could kind of give me a little valuation on the website, because that's what she was doing in the class too. Because we are giving this business our all. And I know it might be hard to conceptualize what that means. If you watch the Ember Candle Co channel, it'll give you a better idea of what we're doing. But even then, the camera is not on 24/7. Like, we don't have a 24-hour live stream of Melissa and Donovan working for y'all to see. And I wish there was, but there isn't. So I know it's hard to kind of be like, you telling me that you actually doing something? You actually doing something every single day? When you're at home and you ain't have no job, like, you actually do it. Yes, we are working on this business every single day. There's no clock out time. There's no I get to head home now and not think about this. I'm gonna leave work at work. It's not like that. We are working on this full time all the time. We're doing everything in our power to make it work, and it's just that's just what it is. That is just what it is. And like Donovan said, he is amazing to sticking to something and seeing it through and making it work, like making sure it works, seeing it all the way to the end. I'm good at finding opportunities, so we're just compounding those two approaches, and we're gonna continue to grow. And I appreciate all the people that is rooting for us, that's cheering us on, and yeah, we just won $15,000.
I was thinking about putting this out early, but I'm probably not because today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, and we have mad stuff to do. So we are doing a live honestly, the live might not be this Saturday. I think it should be on Monday.
Oh yeah, well, oh my gosh. Because I'm like, it was only Saturday because I thought we had nothing anymore.
Yeah.
But now we have something.
Right, so the live will be on Monday or Tuesday.
That's more annoying. That's even further. It's like even further day for me to get to doing what I need to do.
Yep. So, but we will see you guys next week. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is Donovan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend Melissa Burnett, ANETABURN. You know what it is? # Bamboo Project 2023, the road to 500K. And I always say we don't know how or what's gonna come up, but we're gonna keep pushing. Bamboo Project